everyone, today I'll be making Jock Pepin's recipe for crepes, and I'm gonna add my own flair to it, so let's just go ahead and get started now. We're gonna start by adding 1/3 cup of flour, and then to that we're gonna add 1 large egg, and then also we're gonna need a pinch of salt. So this is around a pinch of salt. Got a little stuck in the bottom of our little cup, but that's fine. And we're gonna need a really large pinch of sugar. And then this, we're just gonna go ahead and whisk it up. It's gonna form a really kind of dry and stiff dough. And there, you can see this is getting really stiff. It almost reminds me of like a really dry pasta dough, sort of. And now, we're gonna slowly trickle in 1/2 cup of milk. And we're gonna wanna do this very slowly. So we're just gonna add it in a couple of parts. That'll be like our first part. This will just help thin out our dough. And this will also help take out the clumps of flour, because the flour likes to really clump around in this dough. And we'll add a little bit more now. And as you can see, our dough is gradually turning into a batter, and it's getting fairly thin now. I think I'm just going to add almost all of our milk now. And there you can see now, you're probably thinking, what in the heck? It looks like water or milk, practically. But it's supposed to be really thin, that way it's easy to spread around in our pan. And there we go, that's going to be the last of our milk. So let's just go ahead and whisk this all in. There we go, our batter is fully mixed. Now we're going to get a tablespoon of butter and add it to our pan. I decided to use a small pan. It'll be easier to make our crepes a little bit smaller. And now we're just going to go ahead and move this around our pan to melt it quickly. And you're going to want to be careful here. I have my heat on low heat because you don't want butter to burn, because it burns very easily. Now that our butter is completely melted, we're just going to go ahead and add this to our batter. We're going to want to mix this in pretty quick because we don't want our batter to cook at all. And we're just going to go ahead and scoop this all out of the pan. It is pretty hard to cook your batter though. So there we go. I'm just going to go ahead and set our spatula down and whisk this in. And there we go, that is our crepe batter, and it's completely done now. Now we're gonna make our crepe. We just need a 2 tablespoon measurement. I'm just gonna go ahead and add it to our small green pan. And then you're just gonna wanna swirl it around real quick here so that it doesn't cook completely and scramble like scrambled eggs. And there you can see, you're just gonna wanna turn it around so it's very even. And there you go. Now we're just going to let it cook for a little bit until the top starts to set. Alright, it's time to flip. I just slipped a fork underneath, and we're going to use our spatula to help us get under it, and then we're just going to flip it. Now we're just going to transfer our crepe to the plate to cool because it is now done cooking. Now it's time to make our lemon sugar topping. So for this, I'm just going to start by grating some lemon zest. I'm just using a grater here. And we're just going to kind of rotate our lemon because the zest is really the only first top layer of the skin, and you don't want to get too much of the white part in because it'll tend to make your dish bitter. Now I'm going to add half of our sugar to a small pot. I just have it on low heat right now. And there we go, that looks like about half of our sugar. And to that, I'm also going to add some lemon juice. Actually, that's a lot of lemon juice. And I'm just going to add a little drizzle of water. And then we're just going to slowly cook this until it starts to simmer. And I'm just going to let it simmer down into a thick syrup. And this I will brush on our crepes. Now that our sugar is bubbling and it has reduced to a thicker syrup now, as you can see when I take it off the heat, it's going to slowly condense. I'm going to assemble my crepes now. So we're just going to go ahead and bring this over here along with our sugar. And we're just going to go ahead and start. I'm going to mix this up once or twice with our little brush. It's a silicone brush, and now you can see it's a thick syrup. We're just going to slather this all over our crepe, or our crepe. Either way you want to pronounce it. And you're just gonna dab this around. And then let me show you. The next step is, and then you're just gonna want to go ahead and you're gonna want to finely dust it with sugar. You don't want too much because it can make it really sweet. That should be enough. And you're just gonna kind of want to get this, and you're gonna want to use 2 hands, and you're just gonna want to kind of shake this around just to kind of spread it out so you get even coating. And now that you got that, you're just gonna go ahead and fold it up into a little triangle like this, and then you're just gonna go ahead and dab it with a little dot of our syrup, and you're just gonna add a fine sprinkling of sugar on top. Just like that. It's perfect. And then there's one last step that I want to show you guys. So to finish it all off, you're just gonna grab another lemon here, and I'm just gonna zest a little bit of fresh lemon zest on top of our crepe. And then I'm gonna repeat that with our other 2 crepes also. Alright, I finished decorating all my crepes, so let's go ahead and give this a taste now. I'm really excited because as I was making it, I could smell all the delicious scents, and it just really got me really hyped up. So let's just go ahead and give this a taste. Oh yeah. That's perfect. Wow. Words can't even describe how good that is. The crepe is so delicate and thin, and has a nice egg flavor, and it's mildly sweet. It's not too sweet, and you have a nice balance from the lemon syrup and lemon sugar on top. It's not too sour, and it's not too sweet. It's perfect. It's great if you're looking for a dessert that's not too sweet. I really, really enjoyed that, and I have to give it a 10 out of 10. And now, for the story about how I met a legendary chef. Alright, here I am. Here are our books. So, you may be thinking, aha! I have solved it. So the legendary chef that I did meet was Jacques Pepin, so I was super hyped about that. And he's also the chef that provided the recipe for my crepe batter. And I remember that I first read his book, The Apprentice. This is just an autobiography of him, and it was written by him. And I read it a few years ago, in 2016, and I thought, wow, this is a really good book. It's one of the best books I've ever read, and it still is one of my favorites because I really enjoyed it. Thought it was very entertaining, and he had a lot of antics in his life, and it was very fun. But I heard that he was going on tour to promote his book, which is this one. This is just a cookbook, and he was promoting this in 2016. And I heard that he was going to Carmel, which is nearby in Monterey, California. Some of you may not know it. It's just a small seaside town. It's very cute and all. And I heard that he was going there for a book signing and a presentation, so I was super excited about it. So we went over there, and we had his presentation, and something kind of funny I still remember from it is he had a Q&A during his presentation. It was just in a theater, and he asked the audience if they had any questions, and someone asked him what is his favorite wine, and you know what his response was? Free wine is the best wine. So that was his favorite wine. And afterwards, we had a book signing, so I got him to sign these 3 books. And I also had a few other books that I had for a couple other friends, so I was carrying a huge stack of them. And I remember when I walked up to him, he said that to be a chef, you have to be able to carry the strongest pot in the kitchen, so that was like good practice, carrying all those heavy books. So yeah, it was pretty great. And I talked to him, and I had one more question for him, and I asked him, what is the worst food that you've ever eaten? And he said he would not eat anything that was the worst food, because he would not eat anything if it tasted bad. But then I talked to his daughter, and she said that of all the foods that he doesn't really care about, he's not a big fan of coconut, so I guess he doesn't eat that apparently. Alright, let me just show you guys what he autographed and said in here. And he just said, like, cook with love. And then he put my name, Derek. So I was really happy to see that, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure if you did, hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next one.